I don't know if the board got a chance to look at the 9-page attachment.
Yeah, I got sick.
Huh?
I got sick to my stomach.
I just want to make sure you know that I wasn't the one that produced it. You look at him.
I
But
know
that's
who,
what you asked for. I went right by your checklist.
I know who produced it.
Okay, well, do we start with Joe talking about it, or we start with Bill elaborating on what made him sick to his stomach? I'd rather go to Bill, if you don't mind.
I understand Joe's dilemma, but where are we gonna get that kind of money? He wants $1 million this year, $1 million next year, $1 million the year after that, as a minimum. That doesn't include wage increases that he's gonna have. That doesn't include health increases that he's gonna have in his department. I mean, we can only spend so much on the people. So he should prioritize exactly what he has to have this year to get by this year. And I guarantee it's gonna be $1 million. This board's gonna sit there and say, Joe, we can't give you $1 million.
Well,
I'm just being honest.
no, I was gonna say, I think that that's going to have to be our budget approach with every department this year. I'm not gonna single out Joe.
I'm not, no, I'm just saying,
no.
every department's gonna say, police department's gonna come in, they're gonna want,
Every department is gonna have to come to us at budget time with how little they can get along with.
they're gonna have to come to us with what they came to us with last year.
If,
A zero increase in,
Yes.
total budget.
which is tough because we've held them to that so long that we're getting behind on all the schedules, and we're all well aware of that, but,
I understand.
yeah.
But
It's a difficult discussion to have because we have a feeling that's so ingrained in us was keeping our tax rate as low as we can possibly can, and that's our purpose. That's why we're elected. It's one of the reasons we get elected, and yet we're growing at a pace. We've been growing at a pace that our support for our infrastructure is not keeping up with.
So this year we.
The cost of our, in Joe's case, the cost of our, in the highway department's case, the cost of our equipment is going up every year
Ridiculously.
beyond belief. We need to have more employees to provide the service that our residents require because we can, and we've done everything we can possibly do to reduce the cost of the labor needed to accomplish that by going to one-man trucks, by going to shift work, by doing all those things. We've improved our services, but we've fallen far enough behind where we're not able to keep up in the fashion that we have in the past. And some of our residents are very vocal on that. They don't understand that when you get 2 feet of snow between midnight and 4 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, that you're not going to be able to get all the roads clean by 7 o'clock. They don't understand that, and nothing you say will ever make them understand that. So we have to do the best we can to see that we're well-staffed and well-equipped, and that costs a lot of money. On the same token, we need help from Joe and his department to make sure that they're operating at a maximum, that they're utilizing everything they have to the best of their ability, that when we get something new, when we replace a piece of equipment, that it is what we need, not what we want, because we can't afford what we want anymore. We can only afford what we need. And when I see some of the things on there, like an excavator with 3,500 hours on it, that's something that I'm going to look at you and say, no way. Unless you're telling me that that thing is ready to die, that 3,500 hours has killed it, that's not acceptable. My training, my thinking is 7,000 hours is when you replace equipment.
It'll be at 6,700 hours when we go to trade it.
Okay.
You're right on the mark.
Okay.
That's why it was out where it was.
I know our trucks, only have 170,000 miles on them when we get rid of them, but the hours on them are unbelievable. And think about this, 170,000 miles on a vehicle driven around the town of Webster. Okay?
An average this winter alone, we only ended up with 80 inches of snow, but because the temperatures hovered at freezing, we ended up with 83,000 miles on 24 trucks. 83,000 miles on 24 trucks. And it's all based on temperature. I would rather it be 10 degrees and 5 inches of snow than 32 and freezing rain.
In order to support your need for your equipment, we have to make county work a priority. The revenue from the county work is what supports our highway department. It's what keeps us going. We can no longer turn down any, we're a hired gun. We've always been a hired gun. We travel to Parrington, Arundecoit, Brighton, to do Henrietta, to do jobs for Monroe County, because not only are we well-trained, we're capable, we're well-equipped. We need that revenue, and it's going to come to a point, and I've had the conversation with the county highway superintendent and with the county legislator that's next to us, that represents us. If we can't get this work to support us, we're not going to be able to plow your roads.
Joe, didn't you tell me yesterday that you're looking at several contracts with the county and that's
Yeah.
starting to turn the other way?
5 sitting on my desk right now. We were supposed to meet yesterday with the county boss, but unfortunately had their stomach flu. So
Sign them.
No.
Sign the contracts. You get them back to them and get the guys out. It's June.
So, yes, but COVID has also put a little blanket over that. So that has also hindered that. And our focus were on lake levels and Lake Road, which was a county road.
I understand. I know that lake levels and all of that, and I know it's all important, but our survival relies on us, relies on that revenue.
You saw that.
Yep.
Right? And that shows you right there. And if you look at 2017 to 2018, our Director of Finance continued to increase the revenue line when we knew, and I told them that with the federal monies supporting the county contracts, that we were alienated from participating in county work, and that county, or that source was going to, it's like a pendulum, you know it. It goes high and low. But I knew with that federal funding, we were going to be alienated from those jobs, and that revenue would be down, yet we increased the revenue on the budget side, and I knew we were going to have a shortfall, and that's why 2018 and 19 were both in the red, whereas the rest of the years were in the black. But that federal monies is,
Did we turn down any county work?
no, we never have.
We didn't turn
There
down
was no
Harris?
county work. What's that?
We didn't turn down Harris Road?
So that's Penfield. That was a Penfield job. They're already here. They had 2.5 miles. Yeah, we did. We turned the shoulders down, but we didn't have the time to do that. That was just shoulder work. It wasn't anything there. We supported trucks with it, huh?
Not the paving.
So, no. But that was also 2.5 miles of road, and there was less than half a mile in Webster. They're already on the route. We
Well, like I said,
support
Joe,
trucks.
we're a hired gun. We need the revenue.
Desperately need the revenue.
I understand your request for all this equipment, and I'm not saying that we don't need it. Obviously, we're getting there. We need it, but we need the revenue to support it. It cannot be any more simply said than that. We need the revenue to support the request for equipment. If we can't get the revenue, then we can't have the equipment. Then we can't do the work.
In which case, then we tell the county, you better take care of your own roads.
Well, and the other thing is when we're not doing county jobs, we're not training people to do that kind of work. Eventually, if we continue down that road, we won't have people that know how to do that kind of work.
Sure we do. We got all that work right here in town.
I'm just saying, if the things that they give us for reconstructing roads and all that kind of stuff, we learned that doing jobs for the county.
No, I
Yeah.
disagree. We
Well-
have town roads every single year that we totally rehab. Mill fill, 14,000 foot of pipe.
And we learned how to do that by doing that for the Monroe County. We didn't used to do all that work. We never did those on our own. Not complete jobs like we do on Shoecraft Road. What a beautiful job. We didn't have that expertise until we learned how to do that stuff. Not Shoecraft, Shoemaker. We learned all that stuff doing all those other jobs. When we realigned Hard Road with Shoecraft Road, we knew how to do that because we did all those jobs for Monroe County, County Line Road, things like that. We learned how to do that. And if we stop doing them, if we don't continue doing them, in a period of 5 years, I mean, look right now, I've been gone 13 years. I go down to the department, I maybe know a half a dozen guys. in a very short time, you're gonna lose that expertise in how to do those things.
By next year alone, we have the capabilities of losing 9 more. We
Yeah.
lost 9 last year, it's 18, that's 300 years of experience. That's
Right,
coming
I
from.
understand.
Understood, but
What's
also
our-
realize, the guys coming in have more capabilities and technological capabilities than we do. They're setting up tins, they can run equipment by GIS. I have, trust me, I have. So we're doing more with less. We're doing the same amount of work with less equipment, less men, because that technology has filled that void. We have not lost anything as far as our skill level, without a doubt.
How many, it looked to me like you were down one person, staff-wise, from your numbers?
Well, if you look at it, no. What do you want to compare it to?
I was looking at 40, was your number?
40 was in '07,
Right.
and we lost from there. We were 41 in '08, 39, 40, and then it got down to 30. At 38 was probably an average.
38.
Yep.
So you need at least 2 people.
Correct.
And you've had
this
the
board
okay,
gave us the- yes.
you've had the okay to get 2 people.
Right.
And you haven't got them yet.
No, because COVID, I can't. And the 2 applicants I had already had applications in other towns, got hired. They just started last week. They had already done their interviews prior to COVID. So, but that's again, I've been working with Carla. We've gone on Indeed.com. We have ads all over the place. And I'm not alone. All 19 towns are having the exact same thing. No different than the 4A license for the sewer. Trying to find blue collar.
They don't want to work.
And even the I don't want to say millennials because that's not correct, but even the hirees who come in, they're not even there a couple months and they're gone.
Yeah.
They don't want to sweat.
They don't want to work. They don't want to do any physical labor.
Well, I'm sorry to hear, I recognize that fact, but I also know that it's an awfully good job. It's an awfully good job. It pays well. The benefits are there. The security's there. It's a good job. And if we don't have kids that want to do that, I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, the only
Because
saving
you know how it
grace
used
is
to
the
be, we used
technology.
to have stacks of applications, and they couldn't wait to get there and talk to dozens of past employees that are now school teachers, wish they'd stayed.
Well, and I'll give you some, in the past 6 months of the ones that we've interviewed, don't pass drug tests, they're 12 points on their driver's license. This is what's coming at us. It's a completely different animal.
Okay.
Go ahead, Tom.
You know what,
If you see me shaking over there, it's not because of the conversation.
It's freezing in this room.
Well, I got to add, 2 highway department guys are talking back and forth, I'm learning. Now, with that being said, I want to go back, I want to make sure I understand, first of all, Joe, and I appreciate you got this together,
Quickly.
you're not as good at producing stuff as what Ahmed is, but we'll cut you some slack, okay? Now, I don't know if Bill wanted to throw up because of the numbers or because of it's,
Well, when I look through it and I see his requests, I'm like, I understand he needs all that, but the reality is, there's no way we can give him all that.
well, and that's, here's the thing, I want to make sure I understand, I'm comparing apples to apples. You have 3 years where there's $1 million of equipment, 21, 22, and 23. Okay. Now, what I want to make sure I'm comparing apples to apples to is if you, in the 3 previous years, got equipment of $1.5 million each year, then he's actually asking for less. Now, it's an exaggeration to make a point. I want to make sure I understand page 5, where it
Which
says
document?
Highway Fleet History.
Highway what?
Highway Fleet History.
Okay.
In 2010, it says 500K out of 5.7 million. Does that mean that we bought $500,000 worth of equipment in 2010?
Wait, you're on highway fleet history?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2000, that's for the decade. That was, yes, actually, there were, we
For
had
the
bonded.
decade?
So, well, that's actually towards the end of 2009, 10, we had bonded, equipment on that as well. We had the grader
The grader we bonded, and loaders.
sweeper, I think it was. I think it was the
Okay,
sweeper.
well,
The
what's
sweeper we bonded.
2020 says 540K. Did we have in the budget $540,000 this year for equipment?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So, on the good side of this, Bill, He's not asking for an additional million. He's asking for an additional 500,000.
And what sparked this
No.
number was the 350.
Now, okay, now I want to just make sure I understand something else here. Then what is 2000 number 14, 62K, 2000 number 16, 62K? I take it those are numbers that are associated with a piece of equipment. Where it has
Where I-
number sign next to it. Same document,
Yeah,
all right?
those are the truck numbers.
That's what I figured. So in 2020, down at the bottom right-hand side, I got 2020, number 16, 251K.
Yep.
And there was another truck to be bought, that's what made up the 540,000 of the budget.
Correct.
So would it be safe to say that in 2019, we spent $445,000 on truck 21 and 24? And then in 18, 225, 17, 209. So the last 5 years, it's been somewhere between $200,000 to $500,000 budgeted for equipment.
Correct.
Trucks. And then on page 1 of this 9-page document, you hit us between the eyes with a 3-year going forward of $1 million a year, which made Councilman Abbott throw up. And I kind of, now that I understand it, I see why you did.
But we start with that, a number close to that every year and knock it back down.
So what
Take
I'm,
your word for it.
yes,
I knew
I'm trying to gain back, well, not gain back, but gain back lost ground, because we have thrown stuff out year after year after year, and we've gotten to the point of quit asking. And I totally understand the budget, the total budget, and the tax cap and the whole nine. I'm not naive to that. But we are so far behind, at what point are we gonna spend more money to catch back up?
Because I don't want my friend Patty to be driving at midnight, okay? I don't know about you, but I start to get bleary-eyed driving at that time of night. So we gotta get out.
I just don't like the deer that are out there.
Exactly.
They don't.
When it gets dark, you,
Well, they
And
seem to.
they come out right about
Well,
now
they do
to
like
feed.
you, you know?
They come out right about now to start feeding.
like, I quit riding at night, I quit
Is this an
riding at night.
oversimplification? Because we're not gonna solve the problems of the world today at this meeting.
No,
But may I throw out these 3
Throw out
genres?
up, right?
Okay? I'm gonna start with genre 1 of personnel, okay? Because we have had other meetings about this, and with your potential 9 or 10 people retiring, which are on the higher end of the department, and from what you guys have explained to me, the highway department is a move them up, move them up, move them up, right? Do I understand that
Yeah, it's
correctly?
pyramid, absolutely.
Okay, so those, I don't want to say younger guys, the guys lower on the organization chart will move up. And when they move up into that position, they're not going to be paid at that position the same as the guy who retired. Correct. All right. So we've talked about there might be some potential to get you your wish of more personnel, but maybe do it such that at least in the first couple of years, it hasn't really changed the aggregate dollars.
Correct.
All right?
Correct.
Now, we also have talked about, but then as years go on, it would naturally go up because of the raises and stuff like that. I get it. But to solve a potential personnel problem in the first couple of years, trading out 3 for 2, or whatever it would be, could have an effect.
2 for 1.
2 for 1's a tough one, I would imagine. Because aren't you getting rid of somebody at $100,000 and hiring 2 people at 50,000 plus, and the one you move up, anyway, but theoretically.
It's 35.
you're thinking of wrong department when you're talking $100,000.
Well, I was doing round numbers, you know what I'm saying. So, but and even Councilman Abbott gave me the, so,
You have the right analogy.
thank you. So that's genre 1. Genre 2 is one that I gotta say, Barry, you had me at hello when you said revenue. Because yes, I am looking at all these departments and coming from a business background, I salivate at where can we get revenue. Now, some departments don't have a chance for that, but the highway department does. And I get the catch-22. I think it is, if you don't have the trucks, you can't get the jobs. If you don't have the jobs, you can't get the trucks.
Right.
All right?
It's a circle.
I got it. I would say, and I'm with Barry on this, sign every goddamn,
You almost made it.
I didn't, Karen, you know what?
He hit it.
It's always me that brings out the best, huh?
No, it's not just you. We're gonna put a jar up there.
Yes, she did.
We're gonna put the cuss jar up there.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about,
And we could save some money in this town if we would bump up the thermostat a little bit, I'm just saying.
it really, to tell you, it is kind of cold. I'm with Barry, sign every contract under the face of the earth. In fact, in sales, a lot of times, they go out and they'll sell 100,000 widgets, and then they come back and say, okay, we gotta figure out how to make these widgets. Maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree, but we go out and get these contracts, sign them, and we come back and we figure out how to fulfill them. Barry, Bill's shaking his head yes at me again. That's two positives in a row, Bill.
Yeah, he's just cold.
Okay, so now I'm at genre 3, and it might be the perfect handoff to Paul.
Here we go.
Could we somehow balance your desire, need, wish, semantics for these $1 million a year in the next 3 years in this equipment, which I totally understand if we got that equipment would support the revenue we're going to chase, right? But we're using a benchmark of around 200 to 500,000 the last 5 years. But is what Paul has researched as far as the fund balances of B and A that heretofore we have never really explored to be somewhat of a, I don't know if it touches the tax cap the way you're about to describe it. The risk of this is, I think if you get all that revenue jobs, then is it the A fund that's down to about 100 grand of fund balance, and B's got the
Right, it's a DA fund, which is highway townwide.
right. So let me ask you this: if you go and borrow, or however you do it, fund borrow off the DB fund, which is around $2.1 million fund balance.
Yeah, about 2.5 is available. It would not be borrowing.
We would not be
I'm
borrowing?
going to have you explain this in a
I
minute.
can't hear you, Paul, so.
I'll describe it. So I talked to Ed Grant, who heads up the Rochester office of the State Controller, and told him the issue. Told him that the Highway Townwide Fund owns all the equipment, and he suggested that you would actually charge essentially a rental fee. So in other words, the Highway Per Town Fund does things like they build the roads, they do the fall leaf pickup, they plow the snow. The only thing that's currently charged to that fund is labor and materials. There's no charge for equipment, even though the equipment's owned by the Highway Townwide Fund.
And used for those operations.
Yeah, so Ed Grant suggested, and it's perfectly legitimate, to essentially charge the Highway Part-Town Fund, the DB, for the use of the equipment to plow the roads, pick up the leaves, and build the roads. So that would create revenue in the Highway Townwide Fund and additional expense in the Highway Part-Town Fund. It would provide additional funding in the Townwide Fund to purchase more of the equipment that we need while creating expense in the DB fund. But it works because the DB fund has been the beneficiary of sales tax revenue for the past number of years, and they've built substantial fund balance in that fund. Currently about 2.5 million is available. We came out ahead by about 800,000 in 2019 in that one fund. So I could see our way toward maybe allocating 400,000 between the two funds and giving Joe more funding for
And using that
equipment.
fund balance,
Then we would have to appropriate more fund balance in the DB fund
right,
to keep the tax cap in line.
you raise the
But
fees,
they have the
in-
fund balance.
you raise the fees in the one side to build up the fund balance in the other side.
That's basically it. And it makes sense, because DB is using the equipment, so he
Right.
should rightfully pay for it.
And Paul, if, and it's a big if, we get all this revenue, because we go out and bid all these jobs, and we got all this nice new equipment, and we can fulfill the contracts, would the DA fund potentially in a couple of years now not be at $100,000 fund balance, it would be at $1 million because of the revenue we're bringing in from those jobs?
Yeah, the DA fund balance would start to rise.
And the DB fund,
Would help.
unfortunately, because you said it's been a sales tax driven thing, welcome to COVID-19,
Right.
we're into a unknown, although you know what? Before the budget process is over, I think, Paul, we're gonna get a chance by early August, mid-August, to see the effect of the second quarter on sales tax.
Yeah.
Which I would think would have been the worst quarter, because aren't things starting to kind of accelerate on opening up as far as commerce?
Yeah, and you had a lot of online spending too.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're down about 25% in April,
So,
which isn't that bad. Bad, but
I just want to look over at Councilman Abbott, because I got two of these, and I don't think he's cold. Did you understand that third genre, how maybe we could do a compromise where he doesn't go to a full $1 million of equipment, but there's some happy medium there, and it's somewhat funded, if you want to call it, from what Paul just described, which I don't think affects tax cap.
no.
He's not given that head shake.
It wouldn't affect tax cap, but we would be appropriating quite a bit more in the
Fund
highway
balance.
part-time fund than we have historically.
I understand what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes sense,
If you don't get the revenue,
Yeah.
then you don't get a new truck. It's that
one of the
simple.
things that makes sense about charging the trucks, the cost of the trucks, is that the whole purpose, the majority of our purpose of owning so many trucks is to clear roads for plowing. That's the purpose. If we don't have that much mileage to clear, we don't need that many trucks.
We already have them rated, but because of the work we do for the county. So we know what one of those trucks costs to drive down
They
the
pay you
road.
per hour. What's a 10-wheeler, like $55 an hour? That's what it used to be,
73.37.
73
So
an hour.
So $73,
58 for six-wheeler.
so for every hour he's out plowing, that $73 an hour can get charged against the DB fund. And that draws revenue over to his DA fund. But you can't recreate it now.
I have no doubt that you understood it, but voodoo economics also, you are starting to deplete the DB
Right.
fund. And the only way this works, and to some extent it's life is risk in a lot of ways, is it'd be great if we had a crystal ball, we could look out 5 years and say, hey, guess what? The fund balance in those two combined is 3 million plus. Because right now, I think combined they're 2.2 million plus.
2.6.
Yeah, about 2.6.
Oh, is it really? I thought you said
0.5 plus 100.
There's 2.5.
2.6 available, there's actually more than that. It's actually more like 3 million, but so
Okay,
it's
then
reserved.
redo my example, if the combination of them was
Yeah.
$4.5 million, we must have done something right in totality between those three genres that I described. We maximized revenue, we were able to get new equipment and do that configuration, and we did a 3-for-2 body split. That's the wrong way to put it, personnel split, that replace the retiring guys, which is about 25% of your staff, it looks like, in the next year or so. No?
It'll be like 46% of my staff in 2 years.